Lille versus Feyenoord. Both of these guys are 11th and 12th on the table. Either team with a win here can jump up. They're tied with Leverkusen, who's got a much better goal differential on 13 points. But either of these teams could jump up and get an automatic first round bye here. We've talked at length about how nasty the French teams have been at home, but Feyenoord has just proven to us how absolutely nasty they are. They just skull-fucked Bayern 3-0 at home. Now, Feyenoord is a club that's going to get a major boost by playing at home. That stadium is absolutely electric, but they have some nasty players on this team. I think that the draw is very much a runner here at plus 270. I think Feyenoord plus 0.5 on the Asian handicap is very much worth a look at minus 125. I think the over 2.5 and both teams to score and maybe even over 2.5 here is more than worth a look.
Yes.
Lille's defense hasn't been stellar. They obviously lost 2-1 to Poole. That was away, but at home they coughed up 2 to Sturm Graz. And they had a 1-1 tie versus Juventus recently. So yeah, look, I think Feyenoord can find the back of the score sheet. I think Feyenoord should be riding high and playing with all the confidence in the world, coming off of beating Bayern 3-0 at home. That's something that's absolutely unheard of in Champions League. And I think that they should be looking to try and push for this first round bye. So I like the over here. I like both teams to score, and I think a cheeky little play. Feyenoord just scored twice at plus 165. Seems like fat value.
Absolutely. Once again, we're back in form. We're back in sync. I'm going to echo everything you said. I love when we're on the same side of things. I like it even more when we don't like pre-plan it, which we typically don't. It always makes me feel good to be on the same side as a good handicapper. Feyenoord's the real deal. They've been the real deal in Holland for some time. They've been the real deal in Europe for some time. They're making finals. Yes, it hasn't always been the Champions League, but Europa Cup finals and so on and so forth. They score goals. They're over. If it's set at 2.5, it is almost an automatic bet, especially if they're
17
home.
goals in Champions League.
17 goals in Champions League against pretty good competition, by the way. They've done a fantastic job the past couple of weeks to get themselves into this position to even fight for a bye. So shout out them. I think they're going to carry this momentum. As good as Lille has been, probably the upset so far of the competition, or the surprise of the competition. Credit to them. They're going to be at home. They're going to be tough. I think they're scoring a goal. Both teams to score right there. Over 2.5 right there. I think the over, it's definitely moved a little bit. It's moved about 15 cents, but probably still good enough to play on its own. You also nailed it, man. Over 1.5 team total.
Feyenoord scored 3 goals in every single away game, dude.
There you have it.
They scored 3. They won 2-3 in Girona. And we, whatever you think of Girona, Spain's always a tough place to play. Yep. And that's early in the competition. They fucking went into Portugal and dropped 3 on Benfica, which is insanely tough because we know how good Benfica is in Europe. And they went on the road and they drew 3-3 with City. Like, say what you want about City's defense, but like putting 3 up at the Etihad ain't fucking a walk in the park, dude.
Feyenoord win and over 1.5 is plus 310. Feyenoord win and over 2.5 is plus 390. So a 2-1 win for Feyenoord is getting you almost plus 400. Just saying.
Yeah, I love the over 1.5 at plus 165. I'll look it up. Next, I want to get into player props a little bit. When we talk Feyenoord goals, you are doing an absolute disservice to yourself if you're not talking about Santiago Jimenez. The guy's an absolute fucking stud. I think he had like 40 goals a couple of seasons ago. Yep. I know he had a little bit of an injury. He does kind of go ghost for the Mexican national team, but that team is in complete shambles. They need a lot of help, whether new manager, new system, whatever. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. What I'm trying to tell you is Santiago Jimenez for an anytime goal scorer at plus 210 is a flat out fucking disrespectful number, especially if I think Feyenoord's scoring twice. He's definitely going to get 1, I believe. He also takes all the penalty kicks. So at plus 210, I think that's flat out disrespectful. I also know Paxico is playing really, really good ball right now. He can score as well as assist. So if you can find his to score assist number at a plus number, that's always something I'm interested in. As I'm looking it up, Feyenoord to score 3 on the road here that they've done in every Champions League game is plus 520. I'm just saying, if you want that team total over 2.5, plus 520 is worth a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and again, like we obviously one of the reasons we're talking about it, it's not a meaningless game. They can still get what they need out of getting a win. So why wouldn't we take a chance with everything you just told us about the form that they're in, the result they just came off of? It's absolutely worth a stab.
There's nothing with a loss. Like, that's the other thing is they'll commit to playing forward and scoring goals because they're not in danger of dropping out of Champions League with a loss here.
Spot. So love that. Jimenez plus 200 or better is a no-brainer. Absolutely with you. The one guy I don't understand, I'd love your take on it because I know his numbers are good. I know everybody talks about him. I know every time I see results, he seems to do something. Anytime I watch Jonathan David, I'm never impressed. But he's been kind of doing it. So am I wrong on him? Or what's your take?
He's been a bit of a penalty merchant. I'm not going to lie to you. Look,
plus 115? I don't know. That doesn't move.
Yeah, plus 125 over on DK. Like, I'm taking it at that number because he takes all the penalty kicks.
Okay.
From open play, he hasn't been as impressive as I'd like. I'm a huge fan of the Canadian men's national team. Shout out my boy Jesse Marsh, absolutely fucking holding it down up there. Look, I'm very happy with Poch, but I thought it was a no-brainer to give Jesse Marsh the job. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I like Jonathan David. I like Kyle Larin. I like Alphonso Davies. I fuck with that Canadian men's national team heavy. I think they're always very underrated and disrespected when it comes to CONCACAF.
Yes.
I think they have very nice players. David's been the guy for a while in Lille when they finished second behind PSG 2 or 3 years ago, and they made it out of groups. They made a little bit of a deep Champions League run. This is a team that obviously had to sell some guys. Lost what's his name to Chelsea, the center back that Madrid was looking at. But they've put it together and they've played well and they've hung around tough in League One too. So, they're not a pushover. They are going to be tough at home. But yeah, I see goals here from both sides. And if you're going to give me Jonathan David at plus 125, it's a no-brainer.
So here's where I'm at with him. If we think there's going to be goals, which we do, if we think both teams are going to score, which we do, if we think David's the guy, which sounds like we do, Jonathan David to score a header plus 1,000.
I like it.
I'm going to take a stab. You know what I mean? That's a spot where if I'm going to go for it, I'm going to go for it. Plus 1,000 is a silly, silly, silly number. Could be dangerous off a set piece. Obviously, he's going to play in the middle of that 4-3-3. He should get opportunities.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, he's getting. Unfortunately, I don't like to say it because I am a big Jonathan David guy. He definitely deserves a little bit of a rap of a penalty merchant, but I don't know. Against Feyenoord, Feyenoord's perfectly capable of coughing him up, and It's not like David sucks from open play. It's just that he's been getting a lot of PK goals. And I'm not going to knock him for Lille being able to draw a bunch of penalty kicks. And that's what you want out of a striker, a guy who's going to go to the spot with confidence. And when he goes and lines up at the spot, you're like, that's a fucking make. That's what I want on a guy at plus 125.
Yeah, agree. Hey, listen, the other thing I want to say, Feyenoord to score a goal in the first half, plus 120. I think that's just kind of silly.
Love it. Yeah, because there's, again, absolutely nothing to lose. Feyenoord to score the first goal. That hit last time we were talking against Bayern. Yep. I told you Jimenez to score the first goal and Feyenoord to score first against Bayern. The game went completely sideways on me. I thought Bayern would have some sort of fight in life in them. But they didn't. But luckily, Feyenoord kind of took care of that, especially with my first half over because that's where I was at. But anyway, appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. Be sure to follow me on social media at Burroke77, Twitter, X, Instagram. at Nick Dianni. That is right there in his name tag as well. I will be back to cover a couple more games with you. I have exhausted Nick's time, so I thank him very much for the time he was able to join us. And I will be going live tomorrow as well with Leg, potentially Nick, depending on his schedule. So be sure to like and subscribe and follow on YouTube as well. All the links for all that stuff is right down below in the description. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you at the window. Hopes out. Doses. We outside.